Question 1. Which of the following activities is not typically considered a supervisory responsibility for a Series 24 General Securities Principal? A. Reviewing and approving new customer accounts. B. Conducting due diligence on a new municipal bond offering. C. Executing trades for individual customer accounts. D. Developing and enforcing written supervisory procedures, WSPs. Answer: C. Executing trades for individual customer accounts. Explanation: a Series 24 principal is responsible for the overall supervision of a firm's securities business, including sales practices, trading, and compliance. While they establish procedures for executing trades, the actual execution of trades for individual customer accounts is typically performed by a registered representative or trader. The principal's role is to supervise these activities, not to perform them directly, ensuring adherence to firm policies and regulatory requirements. This distinction is crucial for maintaining an effective supervisory structure and avoiding conflicts of interest. Question 2. A broker-dealer receives a significant number of customer complaints regarding a specific investment product. As a Series 24 principal, what is the most appropriate initial action? A. Immediately notify FINRA of all complaints. B. Review the complaints, investigate the underlying cause, and assess for potential rule violations. C. Instruct registered representatives to cease selling the product immediately. D. Offer immediate restitution to all complaining customers to avoid further escalation. Answer: B. Review the complaints, investigate the underlying cause, and assess for potential rule violations. Explanation: when a significant number of customer complaints are received, a Series 24 principal's primary responsibility is to investigate the issue thoroughly. This involves reviewing the complaints, identifying common themes or potential patterns, and determining if there have been any violations of firm policy or industry rules. While reporting to FINRA may be necessary later and product cessation or restitution could be outcomes, a proper investigation is the essential first step to understand the scope and nature of the problem. This ensures a measured and compliant response, addressing root causes rather than just symptoms. Question 3. Under FINRA rules, all correspondence with the public, including emails and instant messages, must be supervised by a qualified principal. Which type of communication generally requires pre-approval by a principal? A. Institutional sales material. B. Public appearances. C. Correspondence to a single retail customer. D. Retail communications. Answer: D. Retail communications. Explanation: FINRA Rule 2210, communications with the public, generally requires retail communications, which are communications distributed to more than 25 retail investors within any 30 calendar day period, to be approved by a qualified principal prior to use. While other types of communications also require principal supervision, retail communications often have the strictest pre-approval requirements due to their broad reach and potential impact on unsophisticated investors. This pre-approval ensures that all publicly disseminated information is fair, balanced, and not misleading, protecting both investors and the firm from regulatory scrutiny. Question 4. A registered representative wants to engage in a private securities transaction, selling away. Which of the following is required under FINRA rules for the representative to proceed? A. No notification is required if the representative does not receive compensation. B. The representative must provide prior written notice to their firm. If compensation is received, the firm must also provide written approval. C. The firm must receive a portion of the compensation from the transaction. D. Oral notification to a supervisor is sufficient if the transaction is small. Answer: B. The representative must provide prior written notice to their firm. If compensation is received, the firm must also provide written approval. Explanation: FINRA Rule 3280, Private Securities Transactions of an Associated Person, requires an associated person to provide prior written notice to their firm when engaging in a private securities transaction. If the associated person is to receive compensation, the firm must specifically approve the transaction in writing and record it on its books and records, treating it as if it were the firm's own business. If no compensation is received, only prior written notice is required, allowing the firm to determine if the transaction falls under its supervisory responsibilities. This strict requirement prevents undisclosed conflicts of interest and ensures proper oversight of all activities involving securities by registered representatives. Question 5. A Series 24 principal is reviewing the firm's anti-money laundering (AML) program. Which of the following is a key component that must be included in the program? A. A provision for the immediate reporting of all suspicious transactions to FINRA. B. The designation of an AML compliance officer to implement and monitor the program. C. A requirement for all employees to undergo AML training annually, regardless of their role. D. Procedures that exclusively focus on detecting transactions involving more than $10,000. Answer B. The designation of an AML compliance officer to implement and monitor the program. Explanation. According to the Bank Secrecy Act, BSA, and its implementing regulations, broker-dealers are required to establish an AML program that includes the designation of an AML compliance officer. This individual is responsible for implementing and monitoring the firm's AML program, ensuring compliance with all relevant regulations. While reporting suspicious activity and annual training are also critical aspects of an AML program, the designation of a dedicated officer is a foundational requirement. This officer serves as the central point of contact and oversight for the firm's efforts to prevent money laundering. Question 6. What is the primary responsibility of a Series 24 principal concerning the firm's written supervisory procedures, WSPs? A. To ensure that all employees memorize the WSPs verbatim. B. To personally execute every trade in accordance with the WSPs. C. To establish, maintain, and enforce WSPs that are reasonably designed to achieve compliance with applicable securities laws and regulations. D. To file the WSPs with FINRA for pre-approval before implementation. Answer. C. To establish, maintain, and enforce WSPs that are reasonably designed to achieve compliance with applicable securities laws and regulations. Explanation. A Series 24 principal holds the crucial responsibility of establishing, maintaining, and enforcing the firm's written supervisory procedures, WSPs. These procedures must be reasonably designed to ensure compliance with all relevant securities laws, FINRA rules, and MSRB rules. The principal must ensure that the WSPs are comprehensive, clearly communicated to all relevant personnel, and effectively implemented to detect and prevent violations. This oversight is central to the firm's overall compliance framework, protecting both the firm and its customers. Question 7. When a firm conducts an underwriting, a Series 24 principal involved in investment banking must ensure that proper due diligence is performed. What is the main purpose of due diligence in an underwriting? A. To guarantee the profitability of the offering for investors. B. To ensure the issuer's financial statements are audited by an independent CPA. C. To identify and verify the accuracy and completeness of information in the registration statement and prospectus. D. To minimize the underwriting fees charged by the syndicate members. Answer. C. To identify and verify the accuracy and completeness of information in the registration statement and prospectus. Explanation. The main purpose of due diligence in an underwriting is to identify and verify the accuracy and completeness of all material information contained in the registration statement and prospectus. This process is critical for establishing a reasonable investigation defense against liability under the Securities Act of 1933. By thoroughly scrutinizing the issuer's business, finances, and prospects, the principal helps ensure that investors receive full and fair disclosure, thereby protecting the public interest and the firm from potential legal repercussions. It's about ensuring transparency and factual accuracy, not guaranteeing investment performance. Question 8. A registered representative is accused of churning a customer's account. As the supervising Series 24 principal, what is your primary concern during the investigation? A. Whether the customer has sufficient assets to cover potential losses. B. The number of transactions, their size, and the frequency relative to the customer's investment objectives and financial situation. C. The personal trading activity of the registered representative. D. The profitability of the churn trades for the firm. Answer. B. The number of transactions, their size, and the frequency relative to the customer's investment objectives and financial situation. Explanation. When investigating an allegation of churning, a Series 24 Principal's primary concern is to assess whether the trading activity in the account was excessive or unsuitable, given the customer's stated investment objectives and financial situation. This involves analyzing the number, size, and frequency of transactions, as well as the turnover rate and cost-to-equity ratio of the account. Churning is a serious violation where a representative engages in excessive trading primarily to generate commissions, not to benefit the customer. Understanding the suitability of the trading pattern in context is key to determining if churning occurred. The customer's asset level or firm's profit are secondary to the customer's welfare and compliance. Question 9. Which of the following describes the quiet period in the context of an IPO? A. The period after an IPO during which the stock cannot be traded by insiders. B. A period during which an issuer cannot communicate with the public about their financial results. C. A period following an IPO during which research analysts are restricted from publishing research reports on the company. D. The time frame between an underwriter's commitment and the actual closing of an offering. Answer: C. A period following an IPO during which research analysts are restricted from publishing research reports on the company. Explanation: the quiet period, specifically the research quiet period, refers to a time frame following an initial public offering (IPO), during which firms involved in the offering, like underwriters, are restricted from publishing or distributing research reports on the issuer. For IPOs, this period is generally 10 calendar days after the effective date of the registration statement for syndicate members and managers. Its purpose is to prevent potential conflicts of interest and ensure that investors rely on the prospectus for information, rather than potentially biased research from firms with an interest in the offering. This rule helps maintain the integrity of the offering process. Question 10. A Series 24 Principal is responsible for ensuring the firm's compliance with FINRA Rule 3110 regarding supervision. What does this rule primarily mandate? A. That firms must maintain minimum net capital requirements. B. That firms must establish and maintain a system to supervise the activities of each associated person. C. That firms must provide customers with privacy notices annually. D. That firms must file all advertising with FINRA at least 10 business days prior to first use. Answer: B. That firms must establish and maintain a system to supervise the activities of each associated person. Explanation: FINRA Rule 3110, Supervision, is a foundational rule that mandates every member firm establish and maintain a system to supervise the activities of each associated person that is reasonably designed to achieve compliance with applicable securities laws and regulations. This comprehensive system includes written supervisory procedures, designation of principals, and regular reviews of business activities. It is the cornerstone of a principal's responsibilities, ensuring that the firm's operations are conducted ethically and legally. While other options relate to compliance, Rule 3110 specifically addresses the overall supervisory framework. Question 11. Regarding customer account statements, what is a principal's supervisory responsibility? A. To personally prepare and mail each customer statement. B. To ensure that statements are accurate, sent regularly, and include required disclosures. C. To verify that all customers understand every transaction listed on their statement. D. To require customers to sign off on their statements monthly. Answer: B. To ensure that statements are accurate, sent regularly, and include required disclosures. Explanation: a Series 24 Principal must ensure that customer account statements are accurate, complete, and sent to customers at least quarterly, or monthly if there is activity. This includes verifying that all required disclosures are present and that the statements accurately reflect account activity, positions, and valuations. While principals do not prepare each statement, they are responsible for the systems and procedures that ensure the integrity and timely delivery of these critical documents. This oversight protects customers by providing transparent financial information and helps the firm comply with regulatory requirements. Question 12. What is the role of a Series 24 Principal in approving new products or services for sale to customers? A. To assume all liability for customer losses resulting from the new product. B. To ensure that the product is suitable for all customers of the firm. C. To conduct a reasonable diligence review of the product, including its risks and features, and ensure appropriate supervisory procedures are in place. D. To simply sign off on the product if a majority of registered representatives want to sell it. Answer: C. To conduct a reasonable diligence review of the product, including its risks and features, and ensure appropriate supervisory procedures are in place. Explanation: before approving a new product or service, a Series 24 principal must conduct a reasonable diligence review to understand its features, risks, and target market. This includes assessing the product's compliance with regulations, the firm's capacity to supervise its sale, and the training needs for registered representatives. The goal is to ensure that the product is suitable for the firm's customer base and that proper procedures are in place for its offering and ongoing oversight. This proactive approach protects both customers from inappropriate investments and the firm from regulatory breaches. Question 13. A broker-dealer firm is experiencing a significant increase in trading volume and system errors. As a Series 24 principal, which area would you prioritize for immediate review? A. The firm's marketing strategies. B. The firm's business continuity plan (BCP). C. The firm's order handling and execution systems. D. The compensation structure for registered representatives. Answer: C. The firm's order handling and execution systems. Explanation: an increase in trading volume coupled with system errors directly impacts a firm's ability to process orders efficiently and accurately, potentially leading to significant financial losses for the firm and its customers and regulatory violations. As a Series 24 principal, prioritizing the review of order handling and execution systems is critical to identify and rectify the cause of the errors. While BCPs are important for disaster recovery, the immediate issue lies within operational functionality. Addressing these errors promptly is essential for maintaining market integrity and customer trust. The BCP would be reviewed for how it addresses such operational issues, but the direct systems are the immediate focus. Question 14. Which of the following best describes the best execution obligation of a broker-dealer? A. To execute all customer orders on the exchange with the highest quoted price. B. To ensure that customer orders are executed at the most advantageous price reasonably available under prevailing market conditions. C. To always execute customer orders instantly regardless of price. D. To prioritize the firm's proprietary trades over customer orders to maximize firm profit. Answer: B. To ensure that customer orders are executed at the most advantageous price reasonably available under prevailing market conditions. Explanation: the best execution obligation requires broker-dealers to use reasonable diligence to ascertain the best market for a security and buy or sell in that market so that the resultant price to the customer is as favorable as possible under prevailing market conditions. This encompasses not just price, but also factors like speed of execution, likelihood of execution, and the size of the order. A Series 24 principal must ensure that the firm has policies and procedures in place to meet this obligation, continually assessing the quality of executions across various markets. This is a fundamental duty owed to customers and a cornerstone of market fairness. Question 15. Under FINRA rules, what is the maximum gift value an associated person can give to a person associated with another member firm in a single year, without violating gratuity rules? $50. B. $100. C. $250. D. $500. Answer: B. $100. Explanation: FINRA Rule 3220, influencing or rewarding employees of others, prohibits an associated person from giving anything of value in excess of $100 per year to an employee of another member firm if the gift is in relation to the business of the recipient's employer. This rule is designed to prevent undue influence and maintain fair business practices within the industry. A Series 24 principal must supervise to ensure that all associated persons adhere to this limit, keeping proper records of any gifts or gratuities exchanged. This fosters a level playing field and prevents unethical inducements. Question 16. A registered representative is considering borrowing money from a customer. Under what circumstances, if any, is this generally permissible according to FINRA rules? A. Only if the customer is a family member. B. Only if the firm has written procedures allowing it and the loan meets specific conditions, such as the customer being a bank. C. It is never permissible for a registered representative to borrow money from a customer. D. if the loan is for a small immaterial amount and is fully disclosed to the firm. Answer B. Only if the firm has written procedures allowing it and the loan meets specific conditions, such as the customer being a bank. Explanation: FINRA Rule 3240, borrowing from or lending to customers, generally prohibits associated persons from borrowing money from or lending money to customers. However, there are specific exceptions, such as when the customer is a member of the representative's immediate family, or if the customer is a financial institution and the loan is made on commercial terms. In all cases, written notice to and approval from the firm are required, and the firm must have procedures in place governing such activities. A Series 24 principal must strictly supervise these interactions to prevent conflicts of interest and exploitation of the customer-representative relationship. The key is strict adherence to the exceptions and firm policy. Question 17. A Series 24 principal discovers that a registered representative has been selling away without proper notification or approval. What is the most severe consequence for the representative? A. A formal warning from the firm. B. A small monetary fine from FINRA. C. Suspension or permanent bar from the securities industry. D. Mandatory additional continuing education. Answer: C. Suspension or permanent bar from the securities industry. Explanation: selling away, which is engaging in private securities transactions without providing prior written notice to and receiving written approval from the firm, is a serious violation of FINRA Rule 3280. Depending on the nature and extent of the violation, especially if compensation was received and undisclosed, it can lead to severe disciplinary actions, including suspension or a permanent bar from the securities industry. As a Series 24 principal, detecting and addressing such activities is critical to protecting investors and the firm's reputation, as the firm can also be held liable for failure to supervise. This rule underscores the importance of thorough supervision of outside business activities. Question 18. Which of the following is a primary responsibility of a Series 24 principal in overseeing the firm's record-keeping obligations? A. To personally review and approve every single document created by the firm. B. To ensure that all records are stored indefinitely, regardless of their relevance. C. To establish and maintain a system for retaining required records in an accessible and secure manner for the prescribed periods. D. To delegate all record-keeping duties to a third-party vendor without oversight. Answer: C. To establish and maintain a system for retaining required records in an accessible and secure manner for the prescribed periods. Explanation: a Series 24 principal is responsible for establishing and maintaining a robust system for retaining all required records, as mandated by SEC Rules 17A3 and 17A4 and FINRA rules. This includes ensuring that records are kept in an accessible and secure format for the specified retention periods, e.g., 3 years, 6 years, or lifetime. The principal must implement procedures for accurate record creation, storage, retrieval, and eventual destruction in compliance with regulatory requirements. Proper record keeping is fundamental for regulatory audits, customer protection, and the firm's operational integrity. It is a critical component of a principal's supervisory duties. Question 19. Regarding the hiring of new registered representatives, what is a key supervisory responsibility of a Series 24 principal? A. To personally administer the FINRA qualification exams to candidates. B. To conduct a thorough background check, including verification of employment history and disclosures on Form U-4. C. To guarantee that the new representative will achieve specific sales targets within the first year. D. To ensure the new representative has previously worked for a top-tier investment bank. Answer: B. To conduct a thorough background check, including verification of employment history and disclosures on Form U-4. Explanation: when hiring new registered representatives, a Series 24 principal must perform a thorough background check, including verifying their employment history, reviewing any disclosures on their Form U-4, such as disciplinary actions or criminal history, and checking references. This due diligence is crucial for assessing the candidate's character, integrity, and fitness for registration, helping to protect the firm and its customers from unsuitable individuals. While the firm's training programs will equip them, the principal's initial vetting process is a critical preventative measure against potential misconduct. This process is mandated by FINRA Rule 3110E. Question 20. What is the primary objective of a firm's business continuity plan (BCP), as supervised by a Series 24 principal? A. To ensure that all employees can work remotely at all times. B. To guarantee that the firm will never experience any operational disruptions. C. To address how the firm will respond to significant business disruptions and ensure continued customer access to funds and securities. D. To outline the firm's strategy for acquiring new customers during a crisis. Answer: C. To address how the firm will respond to significant business disruptions and ensure continued customer access to funds and securities. Explanation: A firm's business continuity plan (BCP) is designed to address how the firm will respond to significant business disruptions, ensuring that it can continue its operations and provide customers with prompt access to their funds and securities. A Series 24 principal is responsible for developing, testing, and maintaining this plan to mitigate the impact of unforeseen events like natural disasters or technological failures. The BCP is critical for maintaining investor confidence and regulatory compliance, ensuring the firm's resilience in adverse conditions. It's about preparedness and recovery, not preventing all disruptions entirely. Question 21. A research analyst at a broker-dealer firm is preparing a research report on a company that the firm's investment banking department is currently advising on an M&A transaction. What is the primary concern for a Series 24 principal supervising the research department? A. Ensuring the report is delivered to institutional clients before retail clients. B. Preventing potential conflicts of interest and ensuring the independence and objectivity of the research. C. Maximizing the bullish sentiment in the report to help the M&A deal close. D. Confirming that the research analyst has a Series 7 license. Answer: B. Preventing potential conflicts of interest and ensuring the independence and objectivity of the research. Explanation: When a firm's investment banking department is involved with a company that the research department is covering, there is a significant potential for conflicts of interest. A Series 24 principal supervising research must establish and enforce robust information barriers, Chinese walls, and procedures to ensure the independence and objectivity of the research report. The goal is to prevent the investment banking relationship from improperly influencing the research analyst's opinion. This separation is crucial for maintaining investor trust and complying with FINRA Rule 2241, research analysts and research reports. The principal's role is to ensure that analysts provide unbiased analysis, even when other departments have vested interests. Question 22. Which of the following is not a required element of a firm's anti-money laundering (AML) program? A. Independent testing of the program. B. Ongoing training for appropriate personnel. C. Designation of an AML compliance officer. D. Pre-approval by FINRA of all suspicious activity reports (SARs). Answer: D. Pre-approval by FINRA of all suspicious activity reports (SARs). Explanation: A firm's AML program must include independent testing, ongoing employee training, and the designation of an AML compliance officer, as mandated by the Bank Secrecy Act and FINRA rules. However, suspicious activity reports (SARs) are filed directly with FinCEN Financial Crimes Enforcement Network by the firm, not pre-approved by FINRA. While FINRA may review a firm's SAR filings during an examination, the firm itself makes the determination and submission. The principal must ensure that the firm's procedures for identifying and filing SARs are robust and compliant. This maintains the confidentiality and effectiveness of SAR reporting. Question 23. A Series 24 principal identifies instances of excessive trading in multiple customer accounts managed by a specific registered representative. What is the principal's immediate priority? A. To immediately liquidate all positions in the affected accounts. B. To confront the registered representative and terminate their employment without further investigation. C. To initiate an internal investigation to determine if the trading constitutes churning or other suitability violations. D. To notify all affected customers and advise them to seek legal counsel. Answer: C. To initiate an internal investigation to determine if the trading constitutes churning or other suitability violations. Explanation: Upon identifying potential excessive trading, the principal's immediate priority is to initiate a thorough internal investigation. This involves reviewing the trading patterns, customer profiles, investment objectives, and the representative's explanations. This investigation will determine if the activity constitutes churning or other suitability violations before any disciplinary action or customer communication is undertaken. Premature liquidation, termination, or customer notification without a full understanding of the facts could be inappropriate or even legally problematic. A systematic investigation is crucial for a fair and compliant resolution. Question 24. Under what circumstances may a broker-dealer execute a transaction for a customer who has not provided full and accurate account information? A. If the customer insists on executing the trade immediately. B. Only if the trade is unsolicited and the firm has obtained sufficient information to reasonably determine the customer's identity. C. Never all information must be complete before any transaction. D. If the transaction involves a small dollar amount. Answer: B. Only if the trade is unsolicited and the firm has obtained sufficient information to reasonably determine the customer's identity. Explanation: while firms are generally required to obtain certain customer information under FINRA Rule 2090, Know Your Customer, and for suitability purposes, SEC Rule 17a3 mandates specific account information be collected. However, a broker-dealer may execute an unsolicited transaction for a customer for whom it has not obtained all required suitability information, provided it has established the customer's identity under the Patriot Act. The firm must be clear that it cannot make a suitability determination. A Series 24 principle supervises to ensure that firms prioritize customer identification while balancing the customer's right to execute unsolicited trades, provided all other regulatory obligations are met. This allows for limited trading but limits the firm's ability to recommend. Question 25. A Series 24 principal is responsible for reviewing the firm's procedures for safeguarding customer information. Which regulation primarily governs the privacy of customer financial information? Regulation M. B. Regulation T. C. Regulation SP. D. Regulation A. Answer: C. Regulation SP. Explanation: Regulation SP, Privacy of Consumer Financial Information, is the primary SEC rule that governs the privacy of customer financial information. It requires financial institutions, including broker-dealers, to establish policies and procedures to protect customer records and information, and to provide privacy notices to customers explaining how their non-public personal information is collected, disclosed, and protected. A Series 24 principal must ensure that the firm's WSPs and practices comply with Regulation SP, including providing annual privacy notices and implementing appropriate safeguards. This regulation is crucial for maintaining customer trust and compliance with data protection standards. Question 26. Which of the following is a key responsibility of a Series 24 principal in managing a firm's market-making activities? A. To personally quote all bids and offers for the firm. B. To ensure that market-making activities comply with SRO rules e.g. Reg NMS, FINRA Rule 5200 Series, and promote fair and orderly markets. C. To guarantee that the firm's market-making operations always generate a profit. D. To exclusively trade against customer orders to maximize the firm's inventory positions. Answer: B. To ensure that market-making activities comply with SRO rules e.g. Reg NMS, FINRA Rule 5200 Series, and promote fair and orderly markets. Explanation: A Series 24 principal supervising market-making activities must ensure strict compliance with all relevant SRO rules, such as Regulation NMS, National Market System, and FINRA Rule 5200 Series, which govern trading and market-making practices. This includes supervising for issues like manipulative trading, proper quoting, and fair execution practices. The principal's role is to ensure market integrity and fairness, not to guarantee profits or prioritize firm interests over customers. This oversight is vital for maintaining an orderly market and preventing unfair trading practices, which protects both investors and the firm from regulatory penalties. Question 27. What is the primary purpose of FINRA's regulatory element of continuing education? A. To allow registered representatives to specialize in new product areas. B. To ensure registered representatives stay current on regulatory developments, ethical requirements, and industry rules. C. To provide product-specific training mandated by the firm. D. To To test representatives' knowledge of their firm's internal policies and procedures. Answer B. To ensure registered representatives stay current on regulatory developments, ethical requirements and industry rules. Explanation. The regulatory element of continuing education (CE) is mandated by FINRA and is designed to ensure that all registered persons remain current on industry rules and regulations, ethical requirements and best practices. It must be completed periodically, currently every 3 years, within a specified window. A Series 24 principal is responsible for ensuring that all eligible associated persons complete their regulatory element requirements on time. This ongoing education is critical for maintaining high professional standards and compliance across the industry, adapting to an evolving regulatory landscape. It ensures that professionals are aware of the latest investor protection measures. Question 28. A Series 24 principal identifies a pattern of suspicious transactions in a customer's account, potentially indicative of money laundering. What is the principal's obligation regarding a suspicious activity report, SAR? A. To obtain written permission from the customer before filing the SAR. B. To file the SAR immediately with FINRA for review. C. To file the SAR confidentially with FinCEN within 30 days of detection and avoid disclosing the filing to the customer. D. To investigate the transactions personally for up to 90 days before making a decision. Answer. C. To file the SAR confidentially with FinCEN within 30 days of detection and avoid disclosing the filing to the customer. Explanation. Upon detecting suspicious activity, a Series 24 principal must ensure that the firm files a suspicious activity report, SAR, with FinCEN Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, within 30 calendar days after the date of initial detection of facts that may constitute a basis for filing. Critically, the firm and its employees are prohibited from disclosing to the customer or any other party that a SAR has been filed, a practice known as tipping off. This confidentiality is essential for the effectiveness of anti-money laundering efforts. The principal's role is to ensure the firm has procedures to identify, investigate and confidentially report such activities in a timely manner. Question 29. Which of the following is a direct responsibility of a Series 24 principal in relation to a firm's branch offices? A. To personally visit every branch office weekly. B. To ensure that each branch office has adequate supervisory personnel and that activities are conducted in compliance with firm policies and regulations. C. To approve all customer marketing materials generated by branch office personnel. D. To conduct all required internal audits of branch offices independently. Answer. B. To ensure that each branch office has adequate supervisory personnel and that activities are conducted in compliance with firm policies and regulations. Explanation. A Series 24 principal is responsible for ensuring that each branch office has adequate supervisory personnel, and that all activities within the branch, including sales practices, operations and compliance, are conducted in accordance with firm policies and regulatory requirements. This involves establishing effective supervisory systems, conducting periodic reviews and addressing any deficiencies. While principals may delegate some oversight functions, the ultimate responsibility for ensuring proper supervision and compliance across all branch locations rests with them. This comprehensive oversight is critical for maintaining consistency and integrity throughout the firm's distributed operations. Question 30. Under MSRB rules, a Series 24 principal supervising municipal securities activities must ensure that which of the following is met when recommending municipal securities? A. That the recommendation results in a tax-free profit for the customer. B. That the recommendation is suitable for the customer based on their financial profile and investment objectives. C. That the municipal bond is rated AAA by at least 2 major rating agencies. D. That the customer signs a waiver of MSRB protections. Answer. B. That the recommendation is suitable for the customer based on their financial profile and investment objectives. Explanation. MSRB Rule G19 on suitability requires that a municipal securities dealer or representative, when recommending a municipal security, have a reasonable basis to believe that the recommendation is suitable for the customer. This involves assessing the customer's financial profile, investment objectives, tax status and risk tolerance. A Series 24 principle supervising municipal activities must ensure that the firm's procedures and representatives adhere to these suitability obligations. This protects investors from inappropriate recommendations, even for generally considered safe municipal bonds, ensuring that the investment aligns with their individual needs and circumstances. Question 31. A Series 24 principle oversees a firm's trading desk. Which practice, if discovered, would be a clear violation of FINRA rules regarding order handling and market manipulation? A. Executing customer orders at the National Best Bid and Offer, NBBO. B. Placing a proprietary order ahead of a pending customer order for the same security at the same or better price, front-running. C. Routing orders to an exchange offering rebates for liquidity. D. Aggregating multiple small customer orders into a single block order for execution. Answer: B. Placing a proprietary order ahead of a pending customer order for the same security at the same or better price, front-running. Explanation: front-running, which involves placing a proprietary order ahead of a pending customer order to profit from the anticipated price movement caused by the customer order, is a severe violation of FINRA rules and constitutes market manipulation. A Series 24 principle must implement and enforce strict policies and surveillance systems to prevent such unethical and illegal practices on the trading desk. While other options represent legitimate or neutral trading practices, front-running directly abuses the firm's knowledge of customer order flow for its own gain, undermining market fairness and investor trust. Preventing such actions is a core supervisory responsibility. Question 32. A broker-dealer permits its registered representatives to use social media for business purposes. What is a key supervisory challenge for a Series 24 principle regarding these communications? A. Ensuring all social media posts are exclusively promotional. B. Monitoring and retaining all business-related social media communications, even those on third-party platforms. C. Requiring representatives to only use platforms approved by FINRA. D. Limiting social media use to personal non-business purposes only. Answer: B. Monitoring and retaining all business-related social media communications, even those on third-party platforms. Explanation: a significant supervisory challenge for a Series 24 principle regarding social media use for business purposes is ensuring that all business-related communications are monitored, captured, and retained regardless of the platform used. FINRA Rule 2210, Communications with the Public, applies to social media, meaning firms must have procedures for reviewing and archiving these communications as they would for traditional correspondence. The principle must also ensure that content is fair, balanced, and not misleading, and that reps do not engage in prohibited activities. This requires robust technology solutions and clear WSPs to manage the dynamic nature of social media effectively. Question 33. Regarding customer complaints, what is the principal's obligation when a verbal complaint alleging theft or forgery is received? A. Only written complaints require formal action. Verbal complaints can be ignored. B. The principal must document the complaint and treat it as if it were a written complaint, following all internal procedures for resolution and reporting. C. The principal must immediately notify the SEC and FINRA before investigating. D. The principal must obtain a written statement from the customer before proceeding. Answer: B. The principal must document the complaint and treat it as if it were a written complaint, following all internal procedures for resolution and reporting. Explanation: FINRA Rule 4513 requires firms to maintain a file of all written customer complaints. However, industry practice and regulatory guidance dictate that even verbal complaints alleging serious misconduct, such as theft or forgery, must be treated with the same seriousness as written complaints. A Series 24 principle must ensure that the firm has procedures to document such verbal complaints, initiate an investigation, and follow through with all appropriate resolution and reporting requirements. Delaying action or requiring a written statement first could compromise the investigation and breach regulatory obligations. This proactive approach protects customers and the firm. Question 34. What is the principal's responsibility when a registered representative's Form U-5 is filed due to termination? A. To ensure the Form U-5 is filed within 30 days and accurately discloses the reason for termination, including any disciplinary actions or customer complaints. B. To negotiate a severance package with the representative before filing the U-5. C. To provide a positive reference regardless of the reason for termination. D. To ensure the representative has found new employment before filing the U-5. Answer: A. To ensure the Form U-5 is filed within 30 days and accurately discloses the reason for termination, including any disciplinary actions or customer complaints. Explanation: when a registered representative's employment is terminated, a Series 24 principal is responsible for ensuring that Form U-5, Uniform Termination Notice for Securities Industry Registration, is filed with FINRA within 30 calendar days of termination. Crucially, the U-5 must accurately disclose the reason for termination and any disclosable events, such as regulatory actions, criminal convictions, or customer complaints. This obligation ensures transparency within the industry and provides regulatory bodies with essential information about individuals' conduct. Inaccurate or untimely filings can lead to regulatory penalties for the firm and the principal. Question 35. A broker-dealer wants to pay a finder's fee to an unregistered person for referring potential clients. As a Series 24 principal, what is your primary concern? A. Ensuring the finder receives a fixed fee rather than a percentage of assets. B. The potential for the unregistered person to engage in activities requiring registration, such as soliciting new accounts or recommending securities. C. That the finder has a good reputation in the community. D. That the finder refers a minimum number of clients per month. Answer: B. The potential for the unregistered person to engage in activities requiring registration, such as soliciting new accounts or recommending securities. Explanation: paying a finder's fee to an unregistered person for referrals poses a significant regulatory risk because it incentivizes that person to engage in activities that require securities registration, such as soliciting new accounts, pre-qualifying potential clients, or recommending securities. A Series 24 principal's primary concern is to ensure that the unregistered person's activities are strictly limited to providing names and contact information, and that they do not participate in any part of the sales process. Firms must have robust WSPs and oversight to prevent such unregistered soliciting, which can lead to severe regulatory penalties. Any compensation to unregistered persons should be carefully scrutinized to avoid regulatory breaches.